I'm working. Sorry in advance.
We are now live on YouTube.
Taking care of you.
All right, gonna call the meeting to order. Call the meeting to order. All the aldermen present. Greg Sisman, Alderman Greg Sisman, you there with us? Okay, Alderman Greg Sisman is joining via phone, which is actually legal. We checked it out with the AG. So we've got Lynn is sitting in for Melissa Martin, who will be here momentarily, and our attorney, Rocky Eaton. If we could have Alderman Blake Noble lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
Father God, we thank you so much for the opportunity to serve our people. Father, we pray that we do well tonight. I know that there are a bunch of issues that everybody's going to be wanting to talk about. I pray that you just give us wisdom and guidance as this evening goes on. In your name, we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, I hope everyone got their latest with the addition of some fire travel that we've got going on. Is there a motion? We would adopt the agenda with those additions. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? If you guys would, I'm gonna play a little Scrabble with y'all. Want to move some stuff around because we've got some folks we need to swear in, and I like when everybody can see that. So anyway, if we could move down to orders and ordinances, number 20 and 21. See there, y'all are doing better than the alderman. All right, is there a motion to request to adopt an order hiring Justin Young full-time in the police department at a rate of $18.32 per hour effective July 19th?
Motion.
Is there a motion and a second? All in favor? And number 21, request to adopt an order hiring Rocky Walters, Tyler, full-time in the fire department at a rate of $12.8205. We break it down, see what they do, and that's what it comes out to. More numbers instead of two, per hour, effective July 18th. Is there a motion? All in favor? And if we could, both of those gentlemen are here right now, aren't they? I'm gonna go around and swear them in.
Come on up, guys.
And then we get to their comment section.
You're coming back, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I thought right there. Yes, sir.
You weren't at the Y, did you?
Yes, sir. I did.
I thought you did.
Yes, sir. All right, Justin, let me get you first. Here and 2 or 3 words. And all right. I, Justin Young,
I, Justin Young,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Mississippi,
of the State of Mississippi,
and obey the laws thereof,
and obey the laws thereof,
that I am not disqualified
that I am not disqualified
from holding
from holding
the office
the office
of police officer,
of police officer,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which
upon which
I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thanks.
Welcome aboard. All right. I, Walter, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and obey the laws thereof, that I am not disqualified from holding the office of firefighter, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Appreciate that, everybody. I know it takes up a little bit of time, but we do like to show off our people, especially our first responders. That is a tough job, and in many regards, gets tougher as the day goes by. But we like to have a fully staffed force. Chief, that puts us one down, and Chief Hendry's hiding somewhere. He's not eating the cookies yet here. Okay. Just checking. Okay. Is there a motion to accept the consent agendas, numbers 1 through 4? Is there a second? Second. All in favor? All righty, somebody could bring me the public comment. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to do one thing, and if I could, I wanted to call on Robin Robinson. Had come by. Come on up, Robin. And Robin is running for state senate, and wanted to drop in and say it's this time of the year we get our folks. It's so fun to watch other people campaign. But anyway, go ahead, Robin. Good to have you here in town today.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And I will be a state senator. I just want y'all to know that will work with you to help you get things accomplished. Like House Bill 1438, which allowed your 3% sales tax, where you were able to improve your parks and recreation and freed up money to give raises to your police and to your firefighters. So I want to work with you to help you get things done to make Petal a better place to live and work. I am Robin Robinson. I am running for Senator District 42, and I would appreciate your vote and support on August 8th. I currently serve the people of Jones and Jasper County in the House of Representatives. So I've been there for 3 years. Before that, I worked at Sanderson Farms. I worked for Sanderson Farms for a little over 40 years. I graduated Southern, I know I'm only 29, so y'all can figure out what I said. My family's lived in Jones County for 4 generations, and I call that home for all the years that I've been born, which is more than half a century, which is hard to say. I have an accounting degree from Southern Miss, and I worked for 18 years at Sanderson Farms in audit and accounting, so I understand budgeting and numbers. And I think at the role that you all are in and in the House and the Senate, it's important that you have people who understand numbers and budgeting. I also was responsible for the growth of our organization. As I moved up in the company, I became a director. When I began working for Sanderson Farms, we had about 1,000 employees. When I left the company, we had over 17,000 employees. We operated in 5 states, and we had over $4 billion in sales. So jobs in the economy is very important to me. Also, law and order. It's wonderful to see your young men being sworn in here. Also, education is important to me, and I know that you all are proud of your school district here in Petal, or you should be. Number one on my list, and it will continue to be, jobs in the economy. I think that you've got to have jobs to drive the economy, and that's what we want you to have here in Petal. Also, I've been named Best for Business by BIPEC because of my work in the business community. My goal is simple, and I'm sure it's your goal too, is putting more money back into the pockets of hardworking people in this area. I'm proud to say that in my tenure in the House, I was able to fight to lower taxes. Last year, we passed a bill that reduces income tax, and you will see that this year, 2023, the 4% tax bracket will be eliminated. Also, I work for election integrity, and I know that's important to all of you too. We try to make sure that everybody who is eligible to vote votes, and for those who are not eligible, they do not have the right to vote. I'm an advocate for education. I believe that whatever the question is, probably education is the answer if you stop and think about it. Whether it's a trade certification, whether it's a high school diploma, whether it's a college degree, education helps families provide, put a roof over their family's head, food on the table, and all those things. And we need teachers. We need good teachers to make that happen. This last year, we did the START Act, where the teachers were given a $246 million raise in teacher pay, and that put us above the region and the national average. So I think that is wonderful that we were able to do that. Last year, I'm also for supporting our military and our first responders. Last year, we passed a bill number 779 that provided a $100,000 benefit for first responders and also the annuity for our volunteer fire department. So we were proud to do that. And I know our hospitals in Mississippi struggle. We also had a sizable appropriations for a hospital as well as a grant program. And the grant program is to help strengthen our rural hospitals. And Forest General received a little over $2.1 million. So we're happy that we were able to do that. And I just want to close by saying that I am thankful that we live in a country where we can worship, a country where we can say what we want to say and write what we want to say, a country where we can have an idea and start our own business, a country where we can participate in the political process and know that our vote counts. And I will be a state senator that will work with you to help you get things accomplished, to make Petal a great place to live. So God bless you, and God bless each person here in the great state of Mississippi. Thank you for letting me speak. And I appreciate everything that y'all do in Petal, and I would love to be able to help you.
Thank you. Appreciate knowing the emotions that go through all of that. The folks that sign their name on the line gets real pretty quick, and these folks signed up in January and it's still going. I don't know how y'all I don't know how y'all done that, but anyway, Senate District, actually, oddly enough, with the redrawn lines, actually a portion of South George is actually in that district. So it's a good lick of the city of Petal in that district. So obviously we want to have contacts on our end, but knowing that we could have the flow going both ways is really nice. So thanks for coming and visiting us. Hey, come on in here. All right.
This is the real stuff.
I made y'all sit there and smell it cookies a few more minutes. Thank you so much.
He's trying to take all that. Kind of feel bad. So I would like to introduce myself. So as those know, I am Angela Pepper, the board, the chair for Excel by 5 for this year. I want to take this opportunity to tell you you have a wonderful little poem that's called "All I Really Need to Know I Learned Before Kindergarten." And if you notice down there, one of those are highlighted that says warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Right? So, but on behalf of myself and some of our members, as well as those that aren't in attendance of Excel by Five Coalition, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Your continued support that you, our city leaders, have provided for early childhood education is greatly appreciated. As leaders, you have sent a strong message, and that message to our residents to let them know the importance of our youngest citizens in our city, and that their growth and development are crucial to the future success of our community. So your monetary contribution helps to support the school readiness coordinator, which allows us to ensure that young children, our youngest citizens of Petal, enter school happy, healthy, and ready to be successful. So again, thank you.
And would y'all be available for a picture?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Let's crowd around, gang. I'll get around. Front of it. Hey, we're keeping y'all at midnight. Just get ready. Very seldom have people that can make us look good, so we just take the opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Alright, everybody see everybody?
Can you see? For the most part. There you go, Lynn.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, very appreciative of the work that they do over there. We do as a city, played a big role in that coming here. But the work that they've done has been fantastic. We are committed with tax dollars, and obviously we want to get our bang for our buck, and we think they do a great job of doing that. We get $25,000 a year. I think we give a little more, and I think we take big budgets and give a little less. But anyway, it's always good to see some of that work come together. But anyway, y'all ready to have a meeting?
Yeah.
All righty, let's go. Miss Mary, Reef Across America. Hey, come on up here.
There. How y'all doing?
Good.
My name is Mary Braun, and I am here representing the Kaminsky Wheat Detachment, along with the 20th star of the, help me out.
Daughters of the American Revolution.
Thank you. It's a new thing to me. I'm used to saying Marine Corps League, but I'm not. What I want to talk to you about is Reach Across America. And I'm pretty excited. We just moved back into the area about 1.5 years ago, bought my husband's childhood home. And Reach Across America is, their mission is to remember the fallen, honor those that served, and teach the next generation about freedom. In 1992, Morrow Wilchester was the owner of a wreath company up in Maine, and he had some extra wreaths left over. And what he did is he contacted his former senator from his state, and he wanted to get those extra wreaths placed down in Arlington. Long story short, by 2008, 100,000 wreaths were being placed at veterans' graves down there with the help of 60,000 volunteers. And because of that, Congress actually established National Wreaths Across America Day, which is the 3rd Saturday of December every year now. Who we remember is everybody from the Revolutionary War to present day conflicts. They are devoted sons and daughters. They are fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, and they come from all backgrounds. I'm a former Marine. I am a retired Marine. My entire family is Marine. We come from all backgrounds of life, and we stand in line for our freedoms. There are millions of individual stories to be told. We get to know them by viewing some of the 4,700 recent posts of supporters. If you go to the WWA website, where we remember is by laying of now more than 2.7 million wreaths in ceremonies across more than 3,700, including 3,700 cemeteries, including Puerto Rico and across the world. Hattiesburg has now become, and I get excited and emotional about this because Hattiesburg has now become part of that amazing mission. The Highland Cemetery on West 7th Street is now a resting place of over 2,100 veterans, to include 2 Congressional Medal of Honors. Jack Lucas, who is the youngest Medal of Honor recipient, a personal friend of mine, and Hugh Kaminsky, who fought in the Korean War. Through the efforts of the 20th Star, the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Highland Cemetery is now designated a recipient of the Wreaths Across America. So on the 3rd Saturday, actually 2 days before that, so probably Thursday or Friday, a huge tractor trailer is going to pull down and pull up the side street, and we are going to unload over 2,100 wreaths. And I am here to ask that you guys help us sponsor a wreath, because the wreaths are $17 a piece. And y'all can do this too. The wreaths are $17 a piece. And we are asking for the city to possibly sponsor 100 wreaths together. So we have to get up to 2,100 wreaths to cover every grave of our veterans out there. And it's going to take a lot of effort. And we're asking the city to do that. We've been there. I have not yet started my journey, and you can ask my husband. I'm like a bulldog with a bone. I have not yet started my journey on the businesses here in the city. I'm starting with y'all, and I'm asking you all to do it. Our deadline is 1 November, but I have the forms for it, but we are asking for your support in this. This is the first time I have heard of a city cemetery being given this honor this close to home, because you have Biloxi, you have Slidell, we have other ones that are here. So when I heard, when they came into our meeting and they said this, my arm went like this, my husband was doing this. Trust me, it was an arm form. So I am here to ask you respectfully that you consider possibly donating to this wonderful, wonderful
Are you
cause.
gonna leave some of those sign-up sheets?
Absolutely, I am.
I'll give you one of my cards as well, so you can get in touch with me as well.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Come up here if you would.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I will do that.
You'll leave those with me.
I certainly will.
Awesome. We make some copies of them.
Oh, you can make as many as you want. All the,
Contact information on there?
I will, Hattie's information, my cohort, Hattie Palin, her information is on here. I have yet to get mine.
Okay, so that's fine.
But
If there's questions, we'll get with you that route.
Okay.
Thank you for the work you do.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Howe, come on up. What's going on? How you been doing?
I've been doing well, sir.
You're wondering about that water project down there, aren't you? You're wondering
I'm
about
here
that water
to
project?
Request an update on the Garden Lane project.
that I was here last year inquiring about.
Waiting on.
We took 4 roads out of our paving. I wish we would have taken 5, but that's a whole nother, Matt, that's a whole nother conversation.
You taking 4 roads
We
out?
had a paving list. We took 4 roads out that we thought might have some water issues. One was, West 7th. The other one was Highland. They've done both of those for the most part. They should be over there on your road within the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks. Now, I say that, I'm committing them to do that, and I don't work for them. So anyway, that's what our engineer just told me 3 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's what our assumptions are. So they've got 4 that they're doing the same thing that they're going
For
to
the
do with Highland.
water side.
Yes.
To do the water, and then after that, they'll come in and
Yeah,
pave it at some point.
Because right now, I have water gushing
No,
out of my yard
we don't need to go.
between the meter and the street, which I called in on July 3rd to report.
What's your address?
301 Garden Lane.
301, Matt?
Got it, write it down.
Okay. We don't want it to gush, but little leaks like that, we say, hey, we're gonna
Well, I
wait. But
don't
it's a big
consider it
one.
a little leak.
It's a big one, but we do have some little ones in here, and we get a bunch of phone calls.
Okay, well, it's
A
been
main
good.
water break goes before, a little empty one, so you try to prioritize it, but they'll go check that out for sure.
And we
So
just.
hopefully within 2 weeks. This is one of
Well,
the first times we've ever
I
been
called
able
it in July 3rd. My wife and I are both retired,
Yeah.
and I've yet to see a water department come down and investigate.
We're not gonna, here's the good news, we're not gonna bill you for that water. Well, unless.
Well, it's on
your-
the- I'm expecting it, but it's on the street side.
Oh, it's on that, okay, if it's on
It's
that
on your
we-
side.
You know,
Anyway, but I was, you know,
sprinkler on it or something, maybe.
is there any update as far as resurfacing?
Yeah, we're
Because
gonna do
It
this
should, just from a process standpoint, we've done 2, you all be 3, so they'll, and that, you guys will be the longest road that we'll do.
Well, yeah, I
project.
understand.
But the other one's a pretty short road, so it shouldn't be terribly long. And I definitely do not give any ETAs when it comes to paving these days. It's the Super Bowl for those
You
guys.
know, we're on their timeline.
When they used to, when we,
my wife has had an unexpected back surgery,
I don't know.
and her recovery is 3 to 18 months. And it's horrible for her to drive down Garden Lane, or ride,
Oh, yeah, it's-
ride down Garden
And that was
Lane.
one of the reasons we took it out of the original paving and put it into a water paving project to get.
So within approximately 2 weeks, we're looking at the water side of it.
And I don't think they've been there terribly long, so I would, hopefully by mid-August, they would have done the water side of everything. And then we'll go from
Okay,
there.
well, I was just getting a little concerned because it's been over 2.5
Yeah.
weeks
Yeah.
with my leak that I
Yeah,
had. And
yeah, they'll go check that out.
I don't consider it a small one when it's
Well, if it's gushing,
flowing
no,
down
no.
the whole front of my
If it's-
yard.
If it's gushing, no. No, but they'll get out there and check that out, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Good deal, appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Odom.
All right, Dr. Mullen, you did not have to sign up twice. Where you at?
I'm here.
Come on up here. Does that mean we give you like more, like double time or something, maybe?
I didn't know how to do it. I just wanted you to know I had several things to talk about, so I figured that was the easiest. I'm Dr. Barbara Malden, and I've come to ask what's the update on the fluoridation of the water system.
Throw it on them. Y'all, you got any update on it? You probably might not have.
I do not.
They've been busy, but this, your being here will prompt him to call tomorrow and just see what the status is. I know, we've had a couple of water leaks that have been. I will say, that Mr. Howell here, comparatively, his leak's smaller than the one they dealt with at 1 o'clock the other night on a Saturday night. So I will say that. I do appreciate the work.
By the way, you
y'all
have
do.
another small water leak, if you don't know it, on East Fifth. Right at the pitch of the hill, it's been leaking
Oh,
for
you didn't say
weeks.
East Ford.
No, that's where you flooded one of my rental
Sure, the
houses
meeting down in
with
Hall,
that.
we're gonna go over there if it was East Ford.
So,
But anyway, he got that one too.
okay, so
Yeah.
I think
And
he's.
you will notice,
the-
you're gonna, obviously, we've got aging infrastructure, we're trying to improve it. We're gonna hand off the next group some of this stuff, because it's just too much, obviously, financially and all that to handle. But you see 2 things when it comes to water pipes, especially older water pipes. When you get periods of a lot of rain, or periods of a lot of dry, the ground's doing this number. And old pipe don't really handle a lot of that real well. So anyway, hopefully, like I said, we're gonna make it better, but it's a slow process. But, anyway, he'll have us an update on that. If I get something positive, I'll pass it along to you.
Okay,
Or obviously, you're always welcome to come back.
I appreciate it.
And then now you're number 2, go ahead.
Okay, Well, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the proposed PUD, which is going in there on Oglesby and Court Road. And I live on 26 Country Park Circle, so I'm downstream from that. And there is a thing called Dry Prom Creek. And I am very concerned if you take that 35 acres and you change it into something where the water just flows. Because right now it's completely trees, grass, and natural hills and holes and all the rest of it. And I've actually drowned a BMW over when we had a flash flood at USM. Because when water flows over concrete, it doesn't stop. It just floods like crazy. And I happened to get caught in that flash flood, and it's very scary. So my house lies south of that, or down the street from the proposed building of that, and I'm very, very concerned because right now we have water issues all over town. I've had to build a retaining pond on the backside of my property on East Fourth, because there's nowhere for that water to go, because there was a building project that was put over on Charles Street that was put right in the middle of what should have been draining. So the city doesn't have a really good history of looking at things and understanding that what you do uphill makes a difference. Magnolia Estates,
We're down here. The bank.
Oh, you're talking about the.
right behind that bank, which is now closed, that's was not higher ground, that's a drainage.
Grand Bank.
Grand Bank.
Grand Bank, sorry, Grand Bank.
Yeah.
And so how does that affect me? Well, my house was sitting in a lake, and the only way for me to be able to get the water out from underneath my house is for me to make another ditch. But also my front yard won't ditch, because when the gas people came by and they dug that hole, guess what they did? They filled in all of that. So you can't even drain the front yard in what was obviously a drainage ditch, and that was the gas people.
The gas line isn't that deep.
No, it's not that deep, and they completely destroyed what was a ditch and used to carry it down to the post office. There's no way it can cross underneath Ford now. So, guys, y'all just can't go allowing somebody to go change 35 acres into concrete and expect it not to make a big deal of difference, because it's not like we don't have 4 to 6 inch rains around here. And I'm not talking unusual stuff, that happens.
Last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, like,
You know,
rain down.
So I'm just bringing it to your attention. I want to go on the record that we need to pay close attention to the water. The other issue about that building, the PUD, is going to be the traffic. Because I deal with Court Road all the time, just trying to get out of my neighborhood. And it's very difficult. Right now, Oglesby does not come in at a 90 degree to Old Court Road. It comes in at somewhat less. So when you're sitting there and you're trying to see whether someone's going to be coming from your far right, because you have to look back beyond, and I have to look in my back window to see if there's someone coming. In other words, I can't just look out my side window. I have to look beyond all these blind spots. And then I'm looking down into the hill on the curve. They want to add 3 new streets between Oglesby and my pull-in into my neighborhood. And you gotta look at this stuff, because we've really got, I mean, already they use Old Farm Road like a racetrack. And so those are my particular 2 issues, but the third is, one of the charming things about Petal is we have a variety of architecture. And when I ride, even around all these houses that were built back after the war, they're all the houses that are in these blocks, they all look different. They have different siding, they have different brick, they're different. If I drive to Florida right now and I pull into any one of those new subdivisions that are PUDs, they all look just the same. And that's not generally the way Petal is. Petal is unique and different, and we're a small town, and I don't want to see this change. So I do want to see the growth, but I think it needs to be managed growth. I think 88 families all moving into one small area is kind of a problem, and I think we need to look at it from the water, from the traffic, and also we need to look at it for our schools, because we know we're building a new building with brand new bond issue. How is that going to affect that as well? So I'm going to ask you to be doing your due diligence, especially on these issues that you've already got water problems.
Good deal. Thanks, Dr. Mullin. And I will say that is obviously one of the areas that we do try to cooperate with the schools and give them heads up. Don't get me wrong, anytime you bring in more stuff, it's heartburn on our side too. Everybody says, oh, y'all just want we've got infrastructure issues that we need to address. But obviously, when the game, I know everybody wants to be Little Pedal. I mean, I moved here in '98 where the Walmart was still down here. Love that Walmart. And you didn't have to walk hardly anything to get around. But at the same time, we all know once the Gandy got built, some of this stuff was the cat.
Growth is not bad. It just needs to be along the path that we want to take and not just imposed upon us.
Yeah. And I will say this, I know when things weren't happening, we were a little bit more eager to cut a deal, make things happen, because you're trying to shake the market up. And I don't think we're at that stage now.
No, we have many people who want.
We didn't give Chick-fil-A anything, so.
We want many people who want to move to cattle because of what we have here. Let me say one other issue that I do have, is I have a house at 1857 Old Richmond Road. That house lies right at the end of Barrontown Water. It is in the annexed area, and I don't have city sewer. My sewer right now runs to a tree that's out the backyard. Septic. And I've been talking to Steve, and he said that you're gonna come out there and do that. No, but my neighbor to the right and to the left, and the new people that have all built since that house, they all have it.
Matt, what did we decide on that?
For the sewer, we can get our sewer, because you got enough fall from the house. We're gonna pull, as soon as tap fees are paid, we'll go across the road, bore a line under the road, and set a clean out just right inside the fence that's up.
Okay. I would like to join City of Pedal Water, and I am right at the end of Barrontown. How do I propose that?
When do they meet? Good luck.
I'm just saying, I can't just request it of the city.
It's territories, so.
Okay. But also, when the paving was put there, it made me to where now I have a big ditch that collects water right where there's no drainage.
1847.
1857.
Yep.
So I was wondering if I could also get some way to drain my yard, which doesn't drain now because of the way the concrete was laid in front of 1857 when they're doing that, you know? Putting some sort of drainage pipe alongside of other parts.
Matt, you ain't ran out of ink back there yet, have you?
No, sir, I got a whole pen.
You know, I've got mine with crowns. So you can have that.
T's got one I can borrow too.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you do, you know where I am. Thank you very much.
All righty, Haskell and Caleb, come on up. Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Well, we've all known each other, I think, for a long time. I think we all know it's a lot for me to get up here and do this. But the situation with the utility bill, water / sewer / garbage, we've been looking for some answers for a long time. And 4 weeks ago, we paid $450 to what we thought was to bring our account to bring it current, to bring it to a zero balance. Today, we woke up to no water. We paid another 300, almost
278.
So just say 300. We paid another 300 a day. We left out of that driveway at 3:15. Quarter after 5. This evening, the water still was not turned on. We paid that $300 at right around 3:20, 3:30 this evening.
It was before 3 because you have to.
That's right. The water was still not on. We've not been able, especially since this new leadership in the water department has come on, we've not been able to get coherent answers. We've not been able to understand what the bills are. I mean, we were told today that the leadership in the water department was not going to take another 20 minutes to explain this to us again. The exact words were, I'm not going to take 20 minutes to go through this with you again, and I'm sorry, but this is Greek. Every bit of it is Greek, and if she can't understand it, nobody can understand it.
I've been trying for 7 years, guys. I've lived in the city limits for 7 years. Before that, I was in the county. Every single bill that I've ever been billed in the city limits is right here in that packet of paperwork. Y'all know, however many, 2 years ago, y'all know y'all outsourced me, hired me, paid me money to do some work for y'all. I turned around and paid y'all back some money to clear up the issues I had from the previous places I lived before we ever even bought a house. I told my husband, I said, look, maybe I was just irresponsible, single mom, didn't know what I was doing, but I'm gonna let you handle this. 3 years later, he's been trying to handle it, and there's a major problem with this billing department. Not only that, people are on a fixed income, regardless of if you work or if you're on Social Security or disability or whatever. Fixed income, people are not gonna be able to just come up with more and more and more money every 4 weeks. It was the 17th of June when we paid $450. It is the 18th of July, and we just paid another $300 to get our water turned back on. When we were in that water department, 3 other people were in there with the same problem, begging, this is all I've got, please turn my water back on, begging.
I'm sorry. One woman was in there with $60-something, and she said, this is all I have. Would you please take it and make something happen? This is the cash out of my purse, this is the cash out of my wallet. Would you take it and make something happen?
Yeah, this isn't just about us. There's a lot of people that are struggling with this issue. Y'all know that.
We know that from that standpoint, but every dollar that's on any of the bills that y'all have is owed money. And we're not coming sitting back there adding $75 every chance we get.
Yes, you are, because you're over.
We have 80 to 100 people that get cut off every month. We have 3,800 people that pay.
Well, we said that, we're paying $70 reconnect fees and $45 late fees.
We can't give away a free service. Matter of fact, these people behind you are the ones that pay when we don't collect.
Right, but
We've explained it every chance we've gotten. When you're always late, we're gonna continually get into this situation.
But we have
made every exception we can make. We put you on a hardship one time.
Yes, sir.
And extended that well beyond when we should have.
Yes, sir, but
It even fell over when the last mayor was here.
Yes,
And I said, hey, we're trying to make as many exceptions as we can make. I mean, we're not, like I said, we're not back there just punching.
Yes, you are though. $70 for reconnect fees and $45 late fees.
75, and it's not a reconnect fee. It's a late fee.
A $70 late fee?
$75.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, if people are paying already $450, what
What do we do
justifies
when people go
that?
to Comcast, or when they go to?
Well, it's a monopoly, I guess. We can't go
C-Spot.
anywhere else. We're stuck in this water department.
Oh, no, I understand, I'm stuck too.
We've paid, but we understand what we owe and we've paid what we owe. We have paid.
If you could show us any different, these guys would vote in a heartbeat to
We've
get rid of
got,
everything.
we've got the receipts to show that we paid down to zero.
We've paid, in the past year, we've paid an average of $170 a month.
Other than the payment today, we haven't had a payment since May.
That is not true.
Come on,
That's
I'm sorry.
flat out not true.
Come
Oh,
again.
we didn't, no, we didn't
They
pay in
paid
June.
$450 in June, and then they still owe for their June and their July bill, and then they had a $75 reconnect. That's for the $273.
So on the 17th of June, we, I guess we're billed for June, okay? But we went in on that same day and paid the $450, so we were under the, a misunderstanding, I guess, which is always the case. But
And I try to curb language because words mean something back there. If they say something that they're familiar with and you're not familiar with, I do.
But that has been the only payment since April. You had not paid since April. Your last payment was April the 28th.
That is not.
That's just not true.
That's not the case.
We've got, I
We
mean,
had
just not
no
the
payment in
case.
May. There was no payment made in May whatsoever.
We have paid thousands, I'm addressing everyone. We paid thousands upon thousands.
Yeah.
We have two. We're on city
It
water and city
doesn't
services.
matter to me what you have done, because you're not
Oh,
paying
no, I
my water.
understand that. I understand that.
It doesn't matter to me
Water off.
how much y'all pay.
We've got aldermen up here that have paid thousands of dollars to help people
That,
out.
that
They don't
doesn't matter
advertise
to me.
that. I know, obviously it doesn't. I know that.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
What matters to me is that when we pulled out of the driveway, when we paid this, we were told that the water was gonna be turned on by 5. We pulled out of the driveway at 5:15 PM. It was not.
They're paid up, we'll get them.
I don't want
Are
it,
they
I don't.
still out cutting on?
Yes, we've had too many people come back
Oh,
on the
okay.
tape. They
So
are
they're still
still
out
out
there, okay.
as we speak.
And
I
it
know.
is, it is sad, because every one of y'all have known me for years, you've
No, we
known my
don't.
wife
I know
for
that.
years. It takes an act of Congress to get me up here. It takes an act of Congress to get me up here, and I'm looking at everybody.
Haskell, you're accusing our water department, those ladies back there, of stealing from you.
No,
And I stand by
no,
that, that's
sir,
not
no,
the case.
sir, I'm not.
And that's what I'm hearing, you're
That's
thinking the
never-
billing's erroneous,
That's
you paid
never
when you
come out of
didn't
my
pay.
mouth.
And that's
That's
just not
never
the
come out of
case.
my mouth. What I'm saying is that we paid thousands upon thousands of dollars. And if y'all have too, that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me if my neighbor has,
I
if
mean,
you
I'm
have,
sure
if you have any,
Oh,
nobody's
I
accusing
understand that.
anyone of stealing. I'm
The
saying
billing
there's.
just doesn't make
Erroneously, let me restate that.
I never
Erroneously
said
billing.
anything about anything being erroneous. That word never came. When people are paying this amount of money for trash and water and sewer services, I moved out of Lamar County 3 years ago. I never wanted to be in this city. I moved out of this city in '98 when I graduated high school. I didn't want to be in this city again. She did. For the last 3 years, I have paid entire paychecks for services that I paid literally $18 every other month for in Lamar County. The bottom line is that no one, a married couple, a single man, a single mother
80-year-old widow. That's the example. I
should
always
not have to pay for this.
They do, when people don't pay, they get to pay theirs
I
and
don't-
those other
I
people.
Your
don't
monthly
care.
bill is $89 a month.
We haven't paid $89 a month since we've been here.
We pay an average of
And
107.
if we use more than that, that's fine, we'll pay for it. But this minimum stuff of you can use this tiny amount of water and then you're gonna be
But you
billed,
pay for, yeah, you pay for what, 2,000 gallons, whether you use it or not, yeah.
that's fine. We paid for it for 3
The
years.
sewer that's so high. The sewer is what makes our bill so high. Everybody calls it the water bill, but
Right.
the sewer's $45 for electric toilet. That's why I wanted to question Dr. Mullen, do you really want to become our sewer?
This isn't a joke.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is. I think it's very serious.
I pay for
We
it
deal
too,
with,
I live
we
here too.
deal with it every month.
Guys, one possible solution, just out of curiosity, you're all paying with cash or?
Both, we switch it up, so we experiment with that.
Well, if there's some kind of discrepancy that y'all had, check support from your bank or anything along those lines, that would go a long ways to helping us see if there's some kind of miscommunication between
Well,
you guys and us.
yeah, we just didn't understand how we come off of a hardship and then the water gets turned off 30 days later. When we're paying money, like, it isn't like y'all are not getting paid at some point, but you just got paid
The hardship should no longer
4 weeks
exist.
ago. So the service that we're paying for, or however much we owe that we're paying, it is so confusing. I have tried for 7 years, and y'all know me, y'all know how I am, and I will research until I can no longer research, but it is literally impossible to understand this billing. It is absolutely impossible. Like, when you go online and you look at the breakdown in 30 days and the 90 days and all of that, it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. So I don't know, maybe there's a better solution for this. Maybe there's a better billing department. Maybe there's a software we could look into, something. Because I think that mistakes are happening because the software and maybe the department might even not understand sometimes.
Your current bill is due by the 15th of the month.
Right.
Okay. If you go a month later than that on a 2 month, that's when you're gonna hit the cutoff list. The 21st, late fees are applied.
Okay, so when we paid on the 16th of last month, $450, we were paying everything but last month's bill. Okay, so then now here we are 4 weeks later, and how are we 2 months behind if we were paying everything but last month's bill?
You hadn't paid, you didn't pay.
No, we paid off that debt though.
We're not talking about the debt. You paid, that's all.
You know, it seems like we're never talking about the debt. But we pay and we pay and we pay and we pay.
I mean, I paid money for a house I wasn't even living in, that I couldn't prove I wasn't living in. That's the $1,000 I gave the water department. 100 COLA, I didn't even live in that house for a full year, but I was still being billed. I was being billed also for 128 Cherry, West Cherry Street. When I transferred service, there were still bills coming in. Well, y'all were also billing the new tenants on Cherry Street. Because I know, because I did the business with them to hand the house off, to say,
Well,
look,
I don't know nothing about that.
well, that's what I'm trying to say. They tried to play catch up here
You
for so
can't,
long.
you can't pay in February, then not pay in March, then pay in April, not pay in May.
That's wonderful, but that's not the case with us.
We have missed we've missed a few months, but in 7 years, look at that paperwork. I mean, in 7 years, really, and I don't understand, and we're not the only ones. I'm done. I'm gonna go sit down because we are getting nowhere. I mean, but may it be on the record.
Okay. Thanks, I probably misunderstood how y'all had stated that, but if y'all, obviously, if it's an error on our side, with this, that's something that doesn't even have to come before the board, and whatever the board will about.
Well, we were told to come before the board.
No, I understand that, I mean, you're saying I probably misunderstood y'all a little harsher than it should have been, so my apologies. But, you know, you got, is it Braden Whitaker here?
Yeah.
Hey, come on up here, Braden.
You know the page is not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, wait a second, that sounds familiar. What's going on?
I'll be quick. So the condemned properties for the Hayes Culpeper estate, we have the board to sell it. They're already listed. They'll be,
Oh, good, you just updated.
I'm expecting contracts.
Very nice job. Any questions, guys? Awesome.
Thank you very much.
That was a number of properties, though, if I recall, right? Yeah, that is amazing.
There's more than the ones we have ordered to sell. The ones that are not on the court order have tenants in them. That's gonna, we're gonna tackle the ones that have priority. Those are the ones that are down or.
We've done good work with the city.
Any questions?
All good. Thank you. Go.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all good, Brandon?
Thank you, sir.
I think these next two are gonna be handled within, Ken, you were wanting to, still here?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yeah, we're actually fixing to, we'll get into that inside the agenda if you want to. I know y'all thought we would never get here, did y'all? Anyway, all righty, there are no proclamations and resolutions. I wish, Mickey, I'll get you inside the agenda as well. And we'd like to welcome Melissa Martin, our city clerk. Anyway, proclamations and resolutions. Number 5, request to adopt resolution regarding federal procurement procedures. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? That's some stuff that we're trying to do to get our ARPA money doubled, just kind of jump through some hoops to make that happen, hopefully one day. All righty, number 6, which is under old business. Number 6, request to adopt an ordinance, 1975, 15-81, regulating fireworks in the city limits.
I'd like to make a motion to remove the request.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead.
So just to let everybody know why this is up here and just have the conversation. Basically, we were trying to pass an ordinance, and we were trying to allow the city an opportunity to weigh in on an ordinance to allow fireworks within the cities on 2 holidays, July 4th and New Year's. And basically what we were trying to do is provide a time for people that wanted to shoot fireworks, and for those that don't want fireworks, come down on the time periods outside of that time frame, so that we're not hearing fireworks 2 weeks before and a week after or anything along those lines. That said, this is very much a cultural issue for the city, and so we wanted it to be a cultural decision. That's why we pushed it out on Facebook, on the news, on a few other things, and we wanted our residents to weigh in. And so I know my ward was about 50-50 on giving it a shot. I know another ward was rather in favor of it, but it seems like a lot of the other wards were mostly against it. And so we've gotten the feedback. We tried to just provide that opportunity, and at least we've had the discussion now. So we're happy to withdraw it because it seems like that's the will of the city.
Thank you. Thanks for, got a motion, got a second, did we vote on that?
Second.
Got a motion from the floor, that's probably actually legal somewhere in state code. I'm multitasking, I'm not good at that, so. All in favor? Aye. All right, good deal, thank you, Alderman Nobles. General business, number 7, request to address the board regarding parking lot improvements at 10 West Central Avenue. Come on up here.
So I sent an email to Ms. Melissa, and I believe she forwarded it out to everyone. I've got, no?
Actually,
He's
he's been on a tear. He's calling me like 3 times messing with me, so.
So I've got 2 grass islands in the front of my parking lot that I believe are city right away. I've got a crepe myrtle on one side of one of my entrances, and Mr. Tien that owns the nail salon next door has got 2. When you're trying to pull out of my parking lot and his parking lot, the view either direction is completely obstructed. You can't see either direction trying to pull out there. So I'm requesting to remove the crepe myrtle from my property and the 2 from his. I have his permission, and he actually asked me to do it. I can get that in writing if I need to. But I'm also wanting to remove the 2 grass islands so I can pave all the way to the sidewalk, in my parking lot. I think it's stated in that email if you guys have a chance to check it out.
I did talk to Weston as well, he thought there might be a traffic obstruction as well, so recommend.
Broccoli, as long as we're good, I'll make the motion to approve that.
I'll second. Are we gonna plant anything there?
Now, on his side, Mr. Tien's side, I don't know if he wants to plant bushes.
He just wants the trees gone.
Yeah, he just wants the trees gone, so do
I mean,
I.
I'm down with the trees gone, but paving all the way to the road with no green space whatsoever, that doesn't sound good.
I have to admit, you're talking about walkability of our, and Josh, I mean, I've been working with you on this property for a while. I'm actually not in favor of even remove the trees. Trimming them properly, like we do in front of the schoolhouse, the school is the right way to do that. I mean, the whole idea of having trees along your boulevards and areas, you know, there's a safety aspect, but again, those aren't cut properly. And if they're cut properly, then you have visibility left and right. But removing green space, that's actually counterproductive of what we're trying to do in beautification of the entire city. And so I know it impacts your parking capability, but that's actually city right away. And if it's grass, we mow it, we maintain it. I just hate to lose, green area downtown.
How often is the city supposed to maintain that? I mean, is it my job to mow that, or is it the city's job? And I'm not being smart.
I can answer that.
I'm genuinely asking.
Half of my front yard is actually city right of way. I could wait every 8 months for the city to come and mow it. That's my right, but I choose to.
I talked to Josh, or talked to somebody about this, and I think my concern was somebody parking on the sidewalk, keep easing up.
Yes.
So I wanted some kind of break of some sort, not necessarily green space, but something, you know. I just don't want somebody parking on the sidewalk.
Yes.
You got somebody trying to go down it.
And I do believe that there's a pretty 6 to 8 inch lip there that we would pave up against, that they wouldn't be able to plow that on. But, I mean, push come to shove, I could put in some barrier or something like that.
It's not my favorite parking lot in the world, but we don't really have 50 parking on the sidewalk at Corner Market.
That's yeah, there's somewhere else I was thinking about that. They've got some kind of barrier that keeps them back off of something.
I mean, if the will of the board is to start moving, Great Myrtle, you might as well move all East Main. I mean,
We don't have a lot of green space along that.
take them all down. I mean, that's.
I'm not saying there's a green space for that.
I mean, that's kind of what we're discussing, it's one little through here.
The crepe myrtles for me are more of the safety thing. The islands are more of the cleaning up the space, but I understand, what you guys want as far as the green space. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I'm trying to argue that point. The trees are the main concern due to safety.
It if I could, trimming the tree seems completely reasonable. The green space though, and I don't know this off the top of my head, I'll have to check our floodplain regulations, but we're supposed to have green space, that's permeable land. We can't just start taking that out without really looking at the code and what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed.
And I don't know those codes, that's
I
why,
have a feeling that's gonna be an issue.
that's why I'm coming to you guys here, asking what we could do.
I mean, see, that's, again, like I said, it's a compromise where we, as we move forward with urban development. Again, you know, we can pave everything and permeability is one thing, but as soon as you take 1 square meter of green space out, then I think you have to stormwater discharge off that commercial property.
It's also effectively giving away right to the apartment lot, is what you're saying. I don't think that's appropriate. We don't have it, honestly. Yeah.
But yeah, my concern is about the trees, but again, it's about safety, so it's always a difficult balance. And we just have to have a coherent plan of what we want to do along our boulevards, you know, for walkability. If we just want to say there's no greenery, no trees, or plant something in the center of that area so you have access, because right now your visibility is to the left and right. I mean, maybe something further back along that green area to replace that, but if it's at the corner, which it looks like it is.
The green area is so shallow there that I don't know that you got enough room to space a tree off the sidewalk that, I mean, at that point, it would be in actual parking lot in the center, well, not center, but deep into the parking lot to get off.
And just say, this is something that a lot of developers have been asking, and we've been saying no. So it's kind of one of those things like, is that really the direction we want to take our city in? Is that the norm we want to establish? What is our downtown area going to look like if everyone starts snagging up the little bits of green spots and disappearing? What would Central look like with no crepe myrtles on it? That's not cool.
And like I said, the grass is not as much of an issue. That's more of a convenience and the way I like my property.
I mean, those crepe myrtles just suddenly up and down all the time.
Change that spot.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you're gonna get much complaints about crepe myrtle disappearing. I'm not making the commitment to you.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it without permission is what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
trying to go by the book.
but just like I cut my own grass, even though I don't own that grass, I don't have a right to mow that grass. I think it's more of a cultural norm here that it's okay for that property owner to trim and do what they see is necessary. If anyone wants to correct me on that, go ahead. But I've been cutting the grass, and I plant flowers out on the right of way, little marigolds, every year. And I weed it, I take care of it. And the gas company came and dug up my whole front yard and messed everything up. I can say nothing about it. So.
All righty, anything else, guys?
so the motion to allow him to remove trees that maintain the green areas,
Yeah, motion, second.
not to remove the. I'll make that motion.
Well,
Or what-
you're gonna have to
We already have a
motion to accept.
the whole thing.
To take the trees down, right?
And pave all the way to the sidewalk and remove all the green area.
Can we give them permission to take down the crepe myrtles instead? That seems to be the primary function is, I take down these crepe myrtles. I think
That's the safe
most of y'all have a good feeling inside at the end of this.
Amend your motion. Just crepe myrtles, all three of them.
Bruce just went in favor of it, so I think he done great motion.
I'm not super sure.
I mean, it's kind of, I understand what y'all saying, but it's, is the parking lot next door, does it have green space anywhere in it, or does it come up to the street all the way?
Kitchell Industrial. I think before that on the property, there might have been something, but it's deteriorated to a point where it's just gravel rock there now. It's like the dirt had rocks all in it, and the grass died off. There wasn't hardly anything there, since, the property. Now, one of the grass islands splits mine and his property, which is it's partially the one I showed in
Okay, what's the motion on the floor?
Your motion.
what are your thoughts about keeping the green space and trying to figure out a parking
I mean,
situation
I could figure
without the
that,
trees?
I could figure that out. That's not the end of the world for me. That, like I said, the grass thing was more of a convenience and making it look as clean as possible in the front of the property. I understand that, you go in the city to have some greenery along the sidewalk. So that's not a safety issue. I mean, the trees are, and if somebody actually complained today, the contractor that I had come through, said that he couldn't see anything trying to get out. And then, once you put a trailer behind a truck, you got less time to get out and across traffic there. So, I just foresee potential accidents and so forth.
Well, I'll amend the motion to allow for the removal of the trees, and keep the green space.
Appreciate that. Alderman Stringer with a solid second right there.
The trees, but not the grass.
Appreciate that, Alderman Stringer. No, but Alderman Steele jumping in front of you.
That's good to look on that.
Got an amended motion and amended second. All in favor?
I do have one more question. Do I need to get anything in writing from Mr. Ten on this to provide to you guys, or, I mean, I've got text messages between he and I.
We already minutes, we already moved
It's a civil issue, he goes after you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey.
We're dealing with that now.
Our minutes, we posted online, if you need that, I never find it. Sorry to play hardball with you, I appreciate you coming by.
I'm sure he's losing more than you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Josh.
And thank you for doing something with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Number 8, request to pay estimate number 1 in the amount of $184,000, $932.13 to J. Bearden Construction for water line upgrades on West 7, Shuttle Drive, Highland Drive, and Garden Lane. That is not the order they're doing the work though. Per Shal Beerman and Waite's recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 9.
Real fast, I know that a bunch of residents in Highland are in here because of the HUD conversation, so I would say road should have some work done on it pretty soon to take care of a lot of the water issues.
They're working on it.
Number 9, request to pay estimate number 4 in the amount of $124,123 to Valley Construction for soccer fields per Shal Beerman and Waite's recommendation. Motion. Is there a second? All in favor? Number 10, request to pay estimate number 1 in the amount of $154,326.31 to Grady Crawford Construction for Eastover Sewer per Shal Beerman and Waite's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor? This is becoming a pretty expensive meeting. Just to let you know, that's actually something that's taking place when when the city was annexed, the city bought some sewer systems, and some of the sewer went outside the city. So this is actually an over $1 million project that's actually taking place out in the county. So if you see a city truck out in the Eastover area, that's what you're seeing. Number 11, request to enter into an agreement with Owens Business Machines for printers in dispatch and NCIC. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 12, request to adjust water services bill to 205 Rosewood Drive in the amount of $126 due to a leak.
No, if you read your packet, he did not sign.
I know, this is always my question.
He came in because he had.
You read it, you just was making sure.
He had turned the water off back in February, his pipe burst, and had no usage up until the last 2 months, and then all of a sudden we had all this usage. He thinks maybe we went out there to check and cut it on because it was probably a zero consumption with somebody, we didn't have the house.
That's gonna be Tony, that
I'm glad, because I was a little confused by it.
We normally will send a list of houses that have had zero consumption for like 3 months or more. If we show somebody living there, it's his mama's house, she passed away, he still has the water on, but had turned the meter off because of that leak. Anyway.
I'll take that as a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, number 13, request to accept the resignation of Caitlin Inge in the water department effective July 28th. Motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
He's actually moving out of town, so. We end up hiring business for long. But anyway, request to grant the following property located at 208 Fairchild Drive per the planning commission's recommendation. Variance for landscaped islands every 12 spaces for the parking lot. And special exception to allow metal panels to be used for construction on the apartment. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Discussion. I got questions for both of these. For one, we just had a conversation about the land islands. And I know that they are for beautification, therefore, water issues, that little bit of extra water, that's not being diverted by concrete. My neighborhood right behind that area, also has some water issues where there's a bunch of water running down the hill towards some of the houses. Keeping the grass dead, some other things that I think need to be addressed. And then more importantly to me right now, I don't understand the need for the metal panels. I would say, especially like it's close to the Avangani, that doesn't fit in with that neighborhood. That's in general against our ordinance, and so I don't understand the reason for the variance.
This seems to me like, we're trying to save money, and variances should not be granted to save developer money. It's that simple.
Any others?
Well, I know Fairleigh wasn't able to be here tonight, so I mean, that's, is Jeffrey in here?
Jeffrey's not here, but, Ms. Joe and
Ms.
Dan
Jones.
are here.
And Daniel was there from can you provide some insights on the discussion during the, during that, put you on the spot, Daniel?
Yeah, put me on the spot.
Welcome to
So that was my first meeting, I'll say that. So can you start with the landscaping islands variance?
So
Let's
I
be
think,
space in the parking
I
lot.
think what his concern was is his appeal, and then looking at possibly causing some issue with water going through those islands, causing settlement underneath, and then causing later problems with the settlement of the parking spaces. It sounds like construction issue.
Yeah, that's exactly what those islands are for. And I'm not even sure we can grant this because this is in our subdivision regulations. I don't think we can grant this variance.
We granted.
And I have to be honest,
At Pedal Harvey Baptist.
I have to be honest, because we just got done, I think, allowing not to have one over at one of the churches.
Two churches.
Right, then we pulled this, so being new, I actually was a little confused. And I think it's okay.
But this is part of our subdivision requirements to have these, correct?
Correct. And actually, I made a statement before, are we gonna keep islands or get, 'cause it seems like, just in my first meeting and then here, it seems like we're all over the place with these islands.
And
I will say that.
It's
So-
been a fight.
And I knew as soon as the last gentleman got up, I scooted over here and said, this doesn't look like we're being consistent. So, hey, I'll take a hit and I'll say that we probably should have looked at it a little bit more. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that we're not consistent in what we're doing.
Just to speak to the nature of the neighborhood, there's two other sets of apartments right there. In front of one other apartment, there's a giant green space. And along the side of the other sets of apartments, there's green areas besides the drive into this apartment. And so we'd be treating this one differently than anything that's been there or that is there currently.
And you say, there's this danger of it being undermined because it's near a hill. Usually a property near a hill needs green space more to handle water. Like that's what it's supposed to do, what you described.
I agree.
Do we have an engineer or anyone saying like, this is bad, anything like that, or is this just?
I think it was a matter of parking spaces and.
See, that sounds more accurate.
But, well, it was two, all right, so you have what comes out in the meeting, and you have what, you hear separately.
Yeah, I understand.
So, and it is, so.
I do construction.
Yeah,
I
so
know
both
that this is a
of
big pain in the butt, and I'd rather do it.
aside from that, talking about the metal, actually the neighborhood, the apartments next door is gleaming with metal all over the top roof, so it really did not, it kind of seems like it kind of went along with it.
We're talking about metal walls though, right?
Yeah, but it still is, yeah,
I mean,
just the front of it.
our pedal's not even used to tin roofs yet. You don't even see that often, you know, so
That's why y'all are bored, y'all make decisions, which is make recommendations.
I would be upset if that got near my where I live, and I do live there. So,
Like this is a 3-story building, and I've had people in that neighborhood that are a bit annoyed. They thought that we granted a variance for it being 3-story, and I had to be like, actually, no, like, because of the zoning, 35 feet, it was allowed to be a 3-story building right there. But I would say the metal walls on a 3-story building would be a giant departure, and I just want to know why. Like, what is the benefit to the city for this? Now then, to be clear, Mr. Paley's been a great developer. He's helped us with a whole bunch of stuff, and so we always want to work with our developers, especially one who's done so much work in Pedal. At the same time, I just don't understand the reasoning that we're granting this variance. What damage does it do him, and what benefit do we gain, or are we helping, or anything along those lines?
Any other comment? Got a motion, the motion and a second. Motion and second. A motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Rick, I got a feeling you're going to vote on this one.
Okay.
So all in favor, we've got 3 for it.
I'll say.
I think 3.
Let's
Do hands,
all right.
go hands.
In
All in
favor.
favor? Okay, all opposed?
Okay, hold up. Gerald and Drew are opposed.
Drew's for.
Oh, Drew's for. Blake.
I'm for.
Blake.
Blake and Gerald.
Gerald and Blake.
Blake, there we go. Good deal. Thank you, sir. Put you on the spot. All righty, number 15, we need to let you make a motion or something. Number 15, request to grant the following variances to property located at 408 McKinnon Street per the Planning Commission's recommendation, which is a 2-foot variance on the west side, a 5.6-foot variance on the east side, a 5-foot variance on lot width, 55-foot required, 50-foot available. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Well, tell me the property.
It's McKinnon Street, 408 McKinnon.
Remember that, okay.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Number 16, request to grant a PUD overlay zoning with R1 for property located on Corinth Road with the listed parcel for a new development, Magnolia Trail subdivision per the Planning Commission's recommendation.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got some people there too, and they don't speak.
Yeah, guys, I think this will be the big part of the conversation. I would say this is the development on 3 Mile Cutoff Corinth Road. We've got the developers here. We've got a bunch of residents here that also want to speak. We're going to let everybody kind of have their point. I will say this won't be as interactive, most likely, as the Planning Commission meeting. For whatever objections there are, we'd like that to be relatively quick from the community. But first, I think it'd be wise to let the developers get up here, speak about the project, and then we'll address some of the concerns that we have, and then we'll open it up for a little bit to the community to discuss and share with us how y'all feel.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. I'm Ken Moyer, developer on the project of Ken Moyer Land Design Development. We're a residential and commercial real estate developer with more than 10 years of experience, doing a lot of projects in Hattiesburg area and throughout the state of Mississippi. We did provide some content that you guys can review and kind of follow along. I'll be brief and just do a quick review of some of the content that we're presenting, but we're presenting Magnolia Trails, which our request is a rezoning from R1 Rural French to the plan unit development. Strictly for the uses, aspect of things, we're proposing a single family with multiple different types of housing. And we understand that we'll have to go through the technical process with the engineering and things of that nature to accommodate the neighborhood, the current capacity of the city, which deals with drainage, road work, and things of that nature. If you have your booklets, on the second page, it kind of shows the proposed site, which is 35 acres. We have a mixture of third of acre lots, some eighth of an acre lots, some garden homes, we'll be calling them, and then some townhomes, which would give that mix of residential uses. If you look on the next sheet, we have an overview of what is allowed in the existing rural fringe and R1 subdivision district, which allows single-family housing. It allows for parks and playgrounds and things of that nature. And that's for each one of them. I think the density for the R1 is 10,000 square feet, which is pretty standard with the larger homes that we're proposing. If you look at the density of the current zoning, you can probably get, just depending on how you design it, 60 to 80 units in here, just on a single family. What we're proposing is a mixture, and we have did some studies. We had a wetlands delineation kind of drafted or whatnot, which showed some areas where wetlands will be, which in our plan, we're gonna do some natural areas and drainage ponds and things of that nature to accommodate for that. There's been a lot of, I guess, concerns about the drainage impact. And so in our proposal, we have about 10 plus acres of dedicated common areas, ponds, and lakes. That's not including the buffers that will be surrounding the site. And that's not included the undeveloped portions of the parcels that we're presenting. You know, with the setbacks, you can only develop so much. So there will be a lot of green space, probably more than 50% of undeveloped space inside of this the development. On this other sheet that has the planning recommendations, it's probably sheet number 5. We do want to acknowledge that we've taken into consideration some of the concerns from the planning commission and the neighborhood. And we started kind of evaluating and laying out some of those concerns to make sure that we address them as we get further along in the process. We are interested in working in the Pedicle community and being an asset to positive development. So we want to make sure that we accommodate everyone and also create a sustainable, successful development as we do so. And so I'm open for any questions, and we'll be here. You want to stand up here?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Stand up and sit any longer than you have to. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I just, looking at the drawing y'all got, the buffer zone that I've asked about last week, I asked about trees, y'all said it's gonna be a row of trees. How deep or the width is gonna be of the buffer zone, or have y'all gotten that far yet?
We haven't gotten that far, but right now, as it's laid out, it's at least about 25 feet, I think.
That's all. Just a question. All right.
Go ahead.
You mentioned 10 acres of runoff. That's about 1/3 of the property. Retention areas, grasses to clean the water before it goes into the river.
Yes, sir.
50% green space, that's gonna leave you 15 acres. You mentioned sustainability. I asked the board this. Can we get some detail on these drawings? In other words, we're looking to upgrade Petal, not do the same thing. So we want some upgrade. We want to get a closer look at what it is you're proposing before we just say, hey, we're gonna rezone. That's my comment.
Yeah, we actually have some of this stuff, I think, that they could look at too.
I was gonna say, you can take mine. I will say, we posted this online and put it on TV. If y'all, that's nothing else.
And this, honestly, this is just the beginning of the process
Yes.
as well. There's gonna be many trips, down to the building department. You got Bill Rogers, you have engineers, architects dealing with it. This is really on the very front end of the project.
So you would rezone on the very front end?
Yeah, they have to do that before they know what they could go in there and put. If you didn't rezone it, then they wouldn't be able to do something like the townhouses or something of that nature.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And if we were to rezone it, they're not tied, this is not an agreement.
Gotcha.
This is just what they want.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of this, the vast majority of this property, development from y'all's plans that we've seen are, single family homes, things along those lines. I would say a portion of it is townhouses. Most importantly, and we've spoken to the developers about this, is we don't really want to see rental and high turnover in this area, as we want to see nice development. And so we've spoken with the developers on whether or not they would agree to put in the HOA that rental properties in themselves are not allowed. And I do believe that y'all are open to that, that's something that y'all agreed to.
Yeah, we can discuss it and allocate, whatever as a fair amount for, the community and things of that nature. So we definitely open to that.
A big part of the reason that we're trying to discuss this is because if we take this first step, then it seems that we're intending to go the entire distance with y'all. So if we grant the PUD, then chances are we're gonna be going the entire way with the development. But I know for a lot of the people on Highland here, for a lot of my residents in this neighborhood, that buffer zone is a big part. And I'll just say thank you for clarifying for the 25 feet. There was one road, and well, this.
Yeah, go ahead. The weird angle?
No, actually. So this road right at the front, that one right there. I'll say there's a road on Highland. It's actually Margaret. I'll say those two roads have no intentions of connecting, right? They don't line up on the plans, but I just want to make sure because there's some residents that are asking. I'll say there's no plans on connecting those two together.
No, we want to definitely be private.
Sounds good. And then as Dr. Malden has stated, a big concern is the flooding and the water and stuff like that. But I'm really happy to see the retention ponds and everything. So it looks like you're already taking a lot of that into account. So thank you for that.
So, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and I'm speaking more to the Board of Aldermen, but you listening to this would be very, very helpful to understand kind of the way a lot of this works. The purpose of zoning, we have a whole thing of like what we're supposed to do as aldermen, what our primary, this is basically our job description. Number one, prevent flooding and improve properties. And there, I do see some, when I'm looking at this, there are, and I know this is not a final, this is, it's a concept, I get that. But when I'm looking at the number of variances that you're gonna request, there's a lot, it looks like probably some setbacks, there's probably some, that kind of thing. My concern is this is too many houses, this is too dense, especially the smaller single family homes, which brings me to the second thing. Our job, when we rezone something, the second thing that's listed here is to prevent overcrowding of schools and other public facilities. And let me tell you what, I've been going back to work. I'm a teacher, and every teacher has taken an opportunity to tell me this is bad for our school. Now, you mind if I call you out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Alderman Noble has actually reached out. Would you share with what you found out?
Today I spoke with Dr. Dillon. I believe in speaking with him, have y'all already reached out and y'all spoken to Dr. Dillon about this process?
Yes.
I'll just say, mind sharing a little bit about that conversation. I'll say that I asked him about it. He seemed that he was okay with the development and the timeline that y'all talked out, but I'd still love to know if y'all had anything to add about that.
Well, I'm Deshaun Davis, the real estate broker. I did speak with Dr. Dillon. He just expressed his concern of us keeping them in the know as we progress along so they can plan ahead forward. He didn't have any objections from our phone call. It was just that, hey, look, we know how many houses you're planning here, and we just want to make sure we take that into consideration as they're planning out their year. So that was what he spoke to me when I had a conversation with him, of just making sure we keep them in the loop so they can plan infrastructure and plan staffing and things of that nature. So he was Didn't have any objections, but wanted to keep him in the loop. And I assured him as we're getting down the line, we make those phone calls and make sure that, excuse me, that the school district was prepared for any additional students and families that were coming.
And that is awesome that you're getting ahead on that.
Yeah.
I think that means a lot to me, and I didn't know that when I came here tonight. I had a discussion with Alderman Nobles, and I can't say it's completely changed my mind, but it's definitely given me something to think and pray about and kind of reassess it. My concern is the density of this is a little scary. We just took out, as a city, our taxes just went up so we could build a new school. Our schools are growing, but not as fast as the city is right now. And so we're building our schools up fairly quickly right now. And of course, our school district's on it. You know, they're thinking years ahead of time, talking to you. That is amazing. It is not our superintendent's job to protest these things, though. His job is to respond to them. And goodness gracious, they're great at that. That's our job, to determine whether this is going to be good for our city or not. I'm not against rezoning this. My concern is the density of the project, especially the 900-foot 2-bedrooms. I'm going to try to dissuade you from that as hard as I can moving forward. So
It's very few. That's just in the townhome section, and we understand.
18 of them?
Well, 8 is half and half. 9 of them will be 3 bedrooms, and 9 of them will be.
That's
Well,
more
it just
than all
depends.
here. I mean, it is less water.
For the smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm trying to be as transparent, and I'm trying to get these concerns
You
out.
made a very important point, because we addressed it from an affordability standpoint, because warehouse home prices are priced per square footage right now. These are gonna be some really expensive homes. So we wanted to add in a small portion just to help with affordability, because these would be more or less expensive than some of, than 75%.
And I understand, but what I'm saying is, I wish you wouldn't.
I'm just saying, the point taken.
I also want to add that this project will be phased. We will strategically phase it to try to go with the growth of the city. You know, we don't want to put 80 units at one time. You know, we'll phase it out, maybe 20 units at a time to progressively make the project happen.
That really worked well for one of our other developments. We actually talked about over coffee the other day. All right, anything else, Kane?
Real fast, does anybody else in the, yeah, okay. I was gonna say,
Hey,
yeah.
what are you doing hiding back there?
Joanne Knoll, for folks that don't know. Hi. I'm not gonna be as eloquent as speaker as some of these people have that understand government better than I do. What I do know is that townhomes seem to be hard to sell. And they did speak about at the planning meeting, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that if they couldn't sell them, they might would have to rent them for a while. I'm not really, into rental houses over there. We own property over there on Cross Creek Drive. And, so if they're gonna build nice homes, really nice homes, it'd be very much better. I agree with you about what you're saying about these different issues you brought up. And I don't know how many of y'all have been over there on Country Park Drive and seen the water that gets over there behind those homes. It's horrible. I said to myself one day, I talked to myself, I don't know how these people aren't scared to death that if it rains one more day, the water's gonna be in their homes over there. Have y'all been over there, any of them, when it did rain? I'm looking.
I have not.
Yeah,
I mean, I speak my language.
At any rate, laying that down as it is, and it's gonna be that way, she doesn't need another ounce of water. Those people over there don't. And that creek down there will rise up, and you almost think it's gonna go across that road. Has it been across the road? I think you have. That's a bad problem down there. So, I'm reading my little notes. The traffic down there is not gonna be something to smile about. There'll have to be some changes made on the traffic down there, red lights, stop lights, policemen, whoever you wanna call out. But it's not gonna be something to smile about. I'm wondering where they're gonna find the labor to build these homes. And I'll tell you why. Because I see a lot of Chinese folks building and building, some are good and some aren't. So I think y'all need to think about that. And, that's my simple way of putting it. I'm a simple person.
I'm not sure that's really a concern.
I
I really don't think that's an issue.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I was just looking at the pictures on this book. This looked like a home with a fence around it. I would live in one of those myself. I would rather live in one of those myself.
It's all taken place. They will tell you.
I can get them to give me one where I am on my own property. But my thing is, it's right here. Here's what they. I'm gonna let me for just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's what we trying to want Pella, we call Pella, what we call Pella? Okay. I think we need houses in Pella. I got people, my people, wanna come back home. They over in California. Well, they want to come back home. They want a house to live in. They asked me if any homes in Pella. I've been checking around Pella. They said ain't no homes in Pella you can buy. But we need something in Pella that we can get for people to live in. And this would be a good thing. Y'all do what you want to. But I'm just saying here listening to what they're talking about. We need help. I've been Pella ever since before Pella was even up like it is now. And I love Pella. And I think we all, God children, we all get a one call. Let's be a Pella up.
Well, she talked me out of it.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. We're still gonna let you talk at the end too. All right, you got a motion and a second, all in favor?
One last comment.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate making the contact with the school district. That shows initiative. I appreciate that. I will just reiterate, my concern is about home ownership and long-term pedal community. Again, there's a need for a rental market, but in this environment, this subdivision, one of the focus I know we've kind of coyly talked about rentals, and we'll discuss as we go along. It's a hard no. If there's a no rental, if that clause is in your HOA, I will oppose this project. It is important. Now, I know it might be as a part of your process to extricate yourself as a developer to move out. Like I said, you can't sell on the spot, but long-term rentals, home ownership is what heals the community, not an investment bank that has 10, 15 things that people move in 1 year and move out. That's not good for the school district. It's not good for the fellow community. So we'll work with you, but the rental issue is a number one concern for me on this. The other thing, you depict a great looking retention pond. That retention pond should be grass and dirt until it fills in with water. So as you design, I noticed that, with the hydrology, that should be a mowed area, grass area. It's not a standing water feature, except the one you have with the little water thing in them. But the two ones in your 10 acres, those should be dry retention areas. So I don't want to miscommunicate or do a highlight and say this is a this area, but that's the intent of retention, is not to fill with water and then when it rains, like overflow into adjacent parcels. So just slideology, but that's I appreciate the thought process. But like I said, excited for you guys to move forward. And again, appreciate the initiative to reach out to the school district. That's what. And then, like I said, another contact. I think our fire and our chief in here and our police department. They'll get as we move down this process of HUD and develop it, and look at sizes and all that stuff, and work with the planning department commission. Daniel and Miss Joe's back there. I mean, that's I think we have a great opportunity to make something big of this opportunity for this, not only for the school, but also for our fellow community. So appreciate the work here.
I'd like to say too, you don't take this, but I agree with you on the roof process. We don't agree too much on stuff.
I was gonna save this towards after we said that but I was gonna say basically everybody on the board is probably going to be pretty hard on the rental issue. That said, I do want to say I really appreciate how y'all come into the city. I think this is y'all's first project with the city. I'll say, I know that we blasted it on the news, and so that first planning committee meeting was rather packed out, and even tonight, there are a lot of residents here that are concerned about it. But I do appreciate y'all speaking to the school. I think I've already spoken to the city, works department. I would say y'all been excellent to this point, and answering questions for us and stuff like that. So welcome to Petal. I hope this project goes well. I hope future projects spring from it. So thank y'all for being very proactive in this. I would say we will fight for our residents in that area, but I would say I think that this is going to be a good development overall. So excited to see it.
No, he's still there. Okay, got a motion, got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, there you are, you're still good. I don't know why they put you at 17, but they might could have bumped you up a little bit, huh? Number 17. Number 17, request to accept the following per the planning commission's recommendation. Let me make sure I get this right. We're going to grant a variance for curbing on the east side of the driveway. X, the second denied.
Because
It has been handled.
they're under, it's a -5.
Yeah, that has been,
0.5 here.
that has been satisfied on the western side, I guess, is that right? Okay, so now skip down to grant variance on landscaping requirements, landscaping plan, and then get rid of the last deny as well, right?
Yes, they have to like.
So basically, we're just being asked by the planning commission to grant the variance on the curbing and grant the variance on the landscaping. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ready to go to work?
Can we open back up?
I was almost scared to say,
We got
if
this
there's
permit.
any discussion,
I'm
just
doing perfect.
take it.
So y'all should try to start, they can start work, I think Chip has plans.
In the morning?
Yeah, I think Chip has plans.
Perfect. Yeah, he does. Thank you.
Already got done. Seminars and travel number 18. Is there a motion? I will do it. TJ Burkholz, service tech training in Horn Lake, 19th to the 21st. Total cost not to exceed 800. Is there a motion? Motion second, all in favor?
Hey guys, I must say, I know a lot of the interesting stuff is done, but we still got a little bit to go, so we need some quiet.
The reason that was so late was, they actually got confirmation late that they could go. Anyway, number 19, request for Casey, Burge and Chris Schaus to attend fall semester EMT over at PRCC, on July 18th. That total cost $1,000. Second, yeah, all in favor? All right, mayor's report, all I've got is, I hope somebody gets this, is, the clock is ticking on Cherry Lynn. Thought they were gonna be there probably a week and a half ago, so we're still waiting on them. So I told somebody at any time, so it's still any time, they could come. But, Ms. Ada, do you have anything?
She's got something.
She's negotiating over there, I think.
What you got?
I'm sorry. I just want to tell y'all, your marriage and you allow your fellow real nice. Real nice.
They have nice suits on.
I'm looking to see y'all, a couple other ones come out here looking like they do.
That's right.
I'm waiting on y'all to come out here looking like
That's
they
right.
do.
Gotta tell them, Miss Ada.
Yeah, one night, I want to see all of y'all looking like this.
My suit's got a cut in it, Miss Ada.
Now, I'm gonna take your pictures so you better call Brent.
Miss A, they get paid a lot more than that. I'm
Wait,
serious.
wait, you said nothing?
Way more than you, huh?
I'm gonna take your picture now.
All right, is there a motion to see the need for an executive session?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, thanks, folks. If, we need to, okay, hold on, let you go off and I try to get you.
I knew you were talking.
Oh, wait a second.